Welcome to Warriors at Work. This is Jeanie Coomber, your guide and host. Warriors at Work is a place where everyone in the workplace can come together, gain insight, encouragement, tell stories, connect, and share wisdom. We are a place of like-minded people at different stages of life, all coming together with a shared interest of enlightening and inspiring one another. If you're interested in going from the predictable to the potent, and you want to find your warrior magic, step into the journey with us. Welcome to Warriors at Work.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for being here with me at the Warriors at Work show. So I'm wrapping up the year and I wanted to serve up a present to all of you. So what I did was I started thinking about, what does year end really mean? It means different things to different people. And I got fascinated by the different interpretations of year end, but also what were the rituals and practices that people had to help them reflect on the year, which is a common theme you're going to hear. But really, what does it mean? Why do it at all? And how does that really set you up for the year coming? So what I did was I reached out to a bunch of people that I've interviewed over the course of 2021, as well as some people in my network that I haven't interviewed that I just am fascinated by their story. And we did really short 5-minute interviews about what does year end mean to you? What are your rituals and practices, and why does it matter? How does it help you in your life and in your business? And I thought this would be a fun way to serve up something to all of my amazing warriors in this community, because I know you're all very reflective beings. You're all looking for greater consciousness, happier lives, more balance, more influence. But more than anything, you want to continue showing up as this soulful person who's aligned, attuned, and doing their very best to have the most effective experience here on Earth. So I serve up to you some of the people from the Warrior Magic community over the course of 2021. All of it, as always, in service to all of you incredible people. So be well, have a magical year end. Enjoy.
Coming into the year end, I so often in school growing up would hear about this completion of a circle. And I love circle and line. The lines and the circles are what comprise all of the universe. And so I think of the circle, I think of the line, and I think of like, where was I linear throughout the year? Where was I able to stay without friction in my mind and having more of a circular way of responding to what was happening? I say that, and then what I've realized in these last few years is that my circle doesn't have a beginning and it doesn't have an end. It is really a spiral. And so when I come into the year end, I look kind of back. It's like, oh, I remember this time of year last year. Where have I grown? Where have I shifted? What has transformed in my internal environment and my external environment? And the way that Ray and I, my husband, and I take time for ourselves personally and for our business, the Jaguar Path School of Shamanism, we actually do a fire ceremony. And in our fire ceremony, and I don't know if people are familiar with the fire ceremony, but fire is really cleansing, it's really purifying, and fire offers the element of transformation. And so as we light the fire and we kind of gather the whole experience of just kind of bringing together a fire, and, you know, for some of us, that may be a candle in the sink, you know, if there's something. And we kind of, in the process of setting up, I think of like a ritual is like just getting prepared, making my way. I like to wear something that's symbolic to the year, like whatever the essence of the year has been, whatever that represents, the colors or the feel. I like to bring that into what I'm wearing. And then as we get the fire going, we sit for a few minutes in stillness and really just take a moment to feel into the energy of what gifts the year offered. And then feel into anything I want to release from the year. If there was any stress, if there was any areas of life that were really challenging that I'm ready to like move on and take that as opportunities for growth. And I write something down. I write down whatever it is I want to let go of. And then I write down something that I really want to bring into the new year. And as I write it down, I really feel into the sensation of abundance of time, abundance of space, abundance of energy, my health, whatever it is that I'm really feeling I want to bring to the next level, something I want to evolve, maybe accelerate that growth or that healing. And I'll place that into the fire. And as I watch it transform from paper to ash and the smoke goes up, the lineage that we're part of speaks of how the smoke is like a trail connecting my reality to the cosmos. And I say the cosmos as in like letting the universe know what is it that I am, what is it that I am looking to manifest. And so I'll go first usually, and then my husband will do the same. He'll write down his things. And then we sit in gratitude and we give thanks for all of the blessings that have yet to come. And in that space of gratitude, we feel into like as if all that we're asking for has already arrived.
How is this that ritual helping you in your life and in your business?
It's the ritual to me, it helps me in my personal life because it allows my person, my spirit, myself, my personality to be honored and recognized within the business. And then when I step back into the role that I play in our business, I step into it kind of in like, I want to say like new clothes, like I'm wearing new garments. It's like, this is a new time. And so as I step back into the office, step back on with clients, step back into offering content and sharing the way that I do with the world, my voice, my tone, my whole demeanor has shifted because I've already received the gifts. I've already grown. So now I get to express that and share that with my clients and share that with the world.
Year end to me means a time of reflection, a time to look back and say, okay, what have I learned this year? What have I done differently? Have I grown? And it's really a time for me to take inventory of myself, my accomplishments, the things that, that I did that I'm super proud of, and the things that perhaps I didn't do. And, look at it as a time to say, okay, I didn't accomplish this. Why? What can I do to make myself better?
Do you actually do it on 12/31? And is it like a handwritten kind of thing?
No, so I actually started on December 1st. I've done it for probably, I want to say maybe like the last 5 or 6 years. And literally it's in my journal, like December 1st, excuse me. It's like, okay, inventory. And I go through, and I want to say that it's not like a one and done. It's not like I do it on December 1st and say, okay, you know what, like this is it. It's reflecting through the entire month of December, so that on December 31st, on New Year's Eve, I can look at what I've written, my own handwriting, and it's almost like motivation to start January 1st fresh.
Which really answers my second question, is the ritual or practice.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Do you share that with anyone?
No, it's something that's very personal that I keep to myself. However, when I'm asked, what do you want to accomplish in 2022 or whatever year it is, I'll share just in terms of, well, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and this is why. So there's always the back story to every one of my resolutions. And that is based on the time that I take to reflect on what I accomplished or didn't accomplish.
I love it. And then how do you see that practice helping you in your life and in your business self?
Yeah, I think, you know what, Jeanie, I think it's really important to know where you come, how do I say this? I think it's really important to understand what you've done and what you've accomplished in order to set you up to where you're going and to where you want to be, right? So whether it's, in a job situation, right, you look back at your accomplishments and it's like, okay, you know what, I want to get promoted this next year. And you know what, I know that I accomplished X, Y, and Z in the year prior. So that's going to help me set up my case in terms of the value that I bring to the company. On a personal level, whether it's being, eating healthier or, investing in your body. And what I mean by that is, going to the gym or doing yoga, whatever it is. Like, those are the things that's the practice that helps me stay focused, because when I'm doing exercising and I exercise more, I feel better. And if I feel better, then I'm going to be more focused and more driven to accomplish my goals.
I am fascinated to hear from you around what does year end mean to Terri?
So it means reflection, I think, in its broadest sense. And so those reflection moments happen in a variety of ways, depending on how much time I can steal from my day, or just depending on if I can find a quiet space to unplug and truly disconnect from technology. But I try to write things down, especially as it relates to taking ownership of my feelings and my emotions. I think sometimes when you're sprinting through life, of course you feel things, but you very quickly move on from those feelings in service of moving fast and doing better and accomplishing things. And so for me, it's just kind of writing those feelings down, reflecting on how they've evolved, and gotten me to a place where I'm able to kind of acknowledge them and appreciate them, even if they're not truly favorable feelings. So feelings of frustration or anxiety or disappointment. I don't do any handwriting. I tend to use notes on my phone, or I'll draft emails and then send them to myself, send them to my personal email. But another thing that I've recently started doing within the past year and a half, is just generally drafting emails and using it as a thought dump, and then deleting or releasing those thoughts, because they feel heard in the sense that I was able to kind of organize my thoughts and write them down and take ownership of them. And sometimes I figure out how to host a conversation as an extraction of that email draft. But it doesn't necessarily need to be something that, would have historically been a very reactive thing to say or to send. And so that for me has been an adoption of a new practice that has just generally helped me navigate some of the feelings that I feel. And instead of acting on them more immediately, allowing some time for consideration and processing.
So how does all of what you just shared help you in your life and in your business?
I think as an entrepreneur, you have a lot of eyes on you, and you obviously have commitments to your business partners and your investors and your employees and your family. And it's a lot of people to keep happy. And so what is really important for me is to just generally be measured. And instead of investing or indulging in the vices of my past, I think that writing things down, taking ownership of my feelings, being able to articulate them or express them with authenticity, because this is my experience. And even though you might not be able to understand it, you can respect it or appreciate it. And having a very mature conversation that is considered has just generally allowed me to be much more measured in how I show up for all of those people. So my investors, my employees, my co-founders, my family, which I think has just resulted in less volatility of having high highs, having low lows, and everything in between. And I feel much more even and stable and true to myself in terms of my actions, meeting and marrying my words and my promises to people, because it's just very true to what I know I can do and what I can't do. So it's this understanding of limitations. Not everybody can be Superman every day or Superwoman every day. But just being much more clear and direct about those things in conversation when you're trying to set expectations around what you can do and what you can't do. And I think that's how it shows up. It shows up in small conversations. It shows up in big conversations. It shows up when you're fundraising and you get asked a question and you know that the right answer and the real answer are like two different things. And so misrepresenting yourself is something that I try not to do, regardless of the significance of the conversation.
Thanks to everybody for listening to another episode of Warriors at Work and letting us be a part of your warrior journey. You can ask questions and make suggestions for future topics at jc@jeanniecumber.com. Connect with me personally on LinkedIn and Instagram, and join us on the Warrior Conversations channel on YouTube and at the Warrior Magic Community page on Facebook. You can find links to all these places on my website, jeanniecumber.com, and most importantly, be sure to tell friends about us, subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Spreaker, and Spotify. It helps others find the show and puts more warrior magic out into the world.